Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard here this afternoon, this morning, whenever you're getting a chance to tune in. So I figured, once in a while we do a little rival watch discussion. We did a couple on the Canucks and Flames throughout the NHL season. And I thought we'd discuss a little bit about where I'm sitting with the Calgary Flames right now because, my goodness, it's been a wild year down south here in Alberta. And, well, you know what? It's lining up to be a messy year for Calgary in the NHL in 24-25. So with that said, friends, before we get too far into it, if you're an Edmonton Oilers fan, you're an NHL fan, you're a Flames fan, whatever the case might be, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button. Not saying you have to, but I do encourage you to do as such to stay up to date with all things Edmonton Oilers. That said, for the Calgary Flames, well, what do we know from an Edmonton Oilers standpoint? Oilers took pride in that 22 playoff series in making sure the Calgary Flames were going to have a difficult time going forward, and that they have, right? I think you look at the Oilers, what they did to the Flames in 22, and where the Flames have gone since. It has been an absolute disaster class for the Flames in terms of the organization kind of losing its players. Now that said, I'm not sitting here absolutely ripping on the Flames. I'd say like Craig Conroy's done a pretty good job restocking the cupboards, reconfiguring the roster, reconfiguring the organization in the general manager's chair there in Calgary. But that said, Calgary is nowhere near as competitive as they once were. That's not to be also proven wrong here, hopefully, this season. But for right now, you lose guys like Markstrom, Mangiapane, you lose, right, Tanev midseason, Lindholm midseason, you've lost as well as Zadorov midseason. There's more than enough names to count here on who the Flames have lost over the past little bit. Really, the only two guys that I think are remaining that leave any star power on the Calgary Flames right now, other than the new free agent signings, are guys like Kadri and, of course, Huberdeau. So that's kind of crazy, right? You think about, as an Oilers fan, what you had been used to for the majority of the past 10 years, and now you look at the Calgary Flames and it's like, man, this looks like the Edmonton Oilers in 2009, right? That's kind of how it is shaken out, right? 2009 to 2013, the Oilers were a very unrecognizable team most of the time for fans that would say, oh yeah, that's the Oilers, right? If you look at the roster, well, that has now happened to the Calgary Flames, although hopefully it's a little bit quicker of a turnaround for our guys down south there, simply because as an Oilers fan, right, I think you're seeing enjoying the downfall of the Flames as an Oilers fan is always something that's going to happen. But knowing where the Oilers are, knowing that the NHL is always better when more Canadian teams are in the playoffs, it's kind of tough in that sense, right? It's tough in the situation that if Calgary's not competitive for the next little while, you've also got Montreal, you've also got Ottawa that are still trying to build back to the playoffs, and it just really makes it difficult as an Edmonton Oilers fan to say, man, there's a whole bunch of teams in Canada that can win the cup outside of us, but really you've got the Vancouver Canucks who might take that next step in their development this season. You got, of course, Toronto, who never can take that next step, and Winnipeg, who 1 year in, 1 year out, looking like a god squad, looking like they're unbeatable, and then also being absolutely beat up in the first round or second round of the playoffs. So, right, for Calgary right now, I think it is a necessity to get back to winning as soon as possible. Obviously, the rebuild has to take course, or the retool, or whatever, rebrand, whatever they're calling it in Calgary. I know the word rebuild's a dirty word in the city of Calgary, but you know where we're going, right? It's simply, as an Edmonton Oilers fan, I'm enjoying every second of watching the Calgary Flames kind of not know what to do, not know how to win. But at the same rate, it hurts too, because, watching the Flames not win in the regular season is one thing. Watching them lose to you in the playoffs, as was proven in 22, is a whole nother thing. So that's where I'd love to see if the Flames could turn this around sooner rather than later. Hopefully before Connor McDavid's current contract is up. And let's get one more Battle of Alberta under our belts with the current structure for Connor, and then see where the Oilers go once they've re-signed both Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and might as well throw in, hopefully, one Evan Bouchard. That would be absolutely fantastic too. So yeah, there's a lot to be happening here. The Oilers are obviously in their prime window right now with Draisaitl and McDavid to win cups, and obviously going to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final this past season as well. Although, kind of tough when you look south and, I mean, hey, I guess I can say this. The Edmonton Oilers kept the bars in Calgary open. During the spring and summer this year, the Oilers are the reason the bars were open in Calgary. And that's a pretty good point of pride for us Edmonton Oilers fans, but kind of sucks to see the Flames fans not being able to enjoy a much more heated atmosphere. You imagine it, right? You saw what happened in 2022 when it was the Flames and the Edmonton Oilers going head-to-head in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I would love to see that again here soon, because the sooner that happens, the more lively our province is going to be for another spring. I mean, if the Oilers want to keep going on Stanley Cup runs year in, year out, province is always going to be lively. But if you can mix in 5 to 10 games in the playoffs out of the Calgary Flames in that realm of possibility too, where the Oilers keep doing Stanley Cup runs, all of a sudden Alberta is going to be an absolute party from April 15th to May 15th at minimum every single year. And that is the unenjoyable part of currently right now looking forward as an Edmonton Oilers fan, looking at the Calgary Flames, is it's just that doesn't seem to be a possibility this year. Albeit, hey, leave it to the Calgary Flames of all teams to surprise you. You never know quite what they're going to be. There for a while, they were miss the playoffs, win the division, miss the playoffs, win the division, it seemed, or at least be ultra competitive the next season. So looking forward to seeing what the Calgary Flames have for us this season, friends, because us as Oilers fans, we're going to enjoy being near the top and enjoy them being near the bottom more than likely. Though, that said, there's always room to be surprised, and it is with cautious optimism that we hope they come back to being a winning franchise here soon, because then we get that Battle of Alberta in the playoffs and it all comes together for what might be some magical summers over the next few while we still got Connor and Leo under contract. And then away we go with some good hockey history to be made yet. So friends, thanks for being aboard here this afternoon, this morning, whenever you had a chance to tune in. Like I said, if you are new to the channel, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button here on Dolynny TV, just simply because, hey, we're going to have a long summer. There's going to be some more off-the-wall stuff, but I'd encourage you to check it all out throughout. And then, of course, get ready for the Edmonton Oilers season coming up here in, well, it's July 14th, so we got 17 more days in the month, plus 31. We are less than 50 days to go until September. But for right now, friends, until something breaks today, I am up on out of here.